So, as you might know, I didn't do any art yesterday. There is a reason for that, and the reason is that I wasn't feeling it, but also, more importantly, I had got all these requests and things I wanted to draw, and I couldn't decide which one to do first because I thought, well, you know, whoever gets the first one obviously gets it first, but it's also likely to be my worst one. So do I want to save those for last and do my best work last? Or do I want to do the ones that are like the people that I know best? Do I want to do those last because they're the ones that are more likely to give me like bad feedback, but then they're also the ones more likely to give me good feedback on bad images? I don't know. I didn't know what to do. So, to make it fair, I can just reach around here and do an Alt-Tab on my keyboard. I have here a program called Sophie's Dice. You should get it. It's great. You can design your own dice with any number of sides based on all kinds of different shapes. So I've basically designed up a dice with all my requesters and the two non-request but the ones that I definitely want to do anyway. And I'm going to shake this dice, and whatever it lands on is the one I'm going to have a crack at first. Just to... There's a way to go through this. Will it spin if I pick it up? So you can see on here there's a few names on there. There's myself. There's one... Well, I'll explain them when I land on them. Because that'll give me a little bit of extra content for each day. So I'm going to give it a good old wang. Oh, that's the one that I absolutely did not want to land on first. Oh, thank you, Fates. Get an old tab. Where's my tab? There's my tab. Okay. One second while I look up a reference photo for this. I really should have thought ahead for this one because there's only one thing that I didn't have anything even close to a reference photo for. In fact, you know what? Because of that, I'm going to mulligan it. I'm actually going to give it another roll because I don't have a reference photo for that one. Just because it's going to take me the next half hour to find a decent reference photo to draw. So, okay. So this one is a pun on Mr. Rabbit from Utopia, the original series, not the American one that came out on Amazon. Channel 4 was the best. This is an interesting one because the requester of it, I would imagine, like, they didn't say it, but I think that they want to be anonymous. I think. They only sort of grudgingly asked for, like, they didn't even want to make the request because they were terrified that I would, I don't know, actually do it, which I guess I'm doing it. So, let's just full screen me that. Here we go. You don't normally see this part, do you? But I put the glove back on now that I'm actually going to be doing this. Let's go for portrait on this one. Okay. I'm going to do the whole thing with the transparent layers as usual, just because I feel like I work better that way. Now, this one's going to be really fascinating because... Okay, I'm not going to stick with the genderless pronouns for now because it is... She wants me to create this because of a session that she had in which she role-played someone who was hypnotized into being a rabbit doll, in short. So for the fursona, it's actually going to be like not a living person but a doll, but with maybe a few hints of life about it. Which is good because on the one hand, it means I don't have to stick to realistic proportions for an actual like person or animal. I can do it like a stuffed doll. So for a stuffed doll, you would have like the head size about yay. I'm going to have this slumped down because a doll would slump down, obviously. That seems about right. Maybe Actually, no, because I feel like a teddy would slump like that way. It's only the pencil there, so it's not that important. I'm going to have it looking this direction, so yeah, like that. And then we have sort of the legs on teddy bears kind of have this let's think about this. That if we're doing this in 3D, this one's going to be coming straight at us, almost. But this one's going to be like way off to the side like that. Same for these, really. But I feel like these are going to be pulled sort of down a little bit to the sides. I'll worry about paws later. So what I want to do for this is have the legs be quite short, but then have like large, because it's going to be a rabbit plush. I want to do the whole big feet thing, like kind of like that. You know, the rabbits have large feet. Like they have this. If you look sort of straight down at the feet of rabbits, they have this, like you would expect, a big thing like that. That's a rabbit foot essentially. So if we've got that, this one would be almost flat actually. So if we have the narrow part there with the wide part there. Except I've not attached that to the leg. In fact, that being almost flat, it would actually be practically on the end of the foot there. I want this bit to sort of fold over so it looks a little bit more flooped, if that makes sense. And then we're going to do the thing that I was playing with on the designing a fursona thing 2 nights ago. There we go. So we have that, we have this, this, this. That is paw the first. And then this one will be massively foreshortened because that one's going to be here-ish. Or is it? Let's think, if this is coming in this direction. Firstly it'll be perspective to hell. That seems about right. And this other foot is also going to be huge. It's going to come right up in front of the body. Is that what I want? That is what I want. I like that. So this one is going to come up to sort of here. We're not going to see an awful lot of the three-dimensional part of this. But we are going to see a lot of them toes. But it's not going to lean that way, is it? It's not. Thinking about it, it's going to lean towards us. So it's practically going to be straight up. So it's going to be sort of like this. Yeah. That's going to be sort of curled there. Yeah, I think I can work with that. We'll have a fluffy tail behind. I'll do that in some way. The ears, I mean, with rabbits, you've got to have the floppy ears, right? That's almost a given, you know. It's so we see the inside of this one. So that one we won't see the inside there, but we will see the inside on the backstroke. I want to say we'll see the underside there. How would that look? That would basically be like that, wouldn't it? And you would see, drawn too many sketch lines. So you would see this part here. Should one of them be up and one of them down? Like I feel like that's a cuter look. One up and one down. I always make that mistake. Right. So let's do that one up with that one down. we add that to that, this is going to be quite a large ear actually. Maybe this one should be shorter. I should still have a buckle though, shouldn't it? Which side should buckle though? Should that buckle? No, that should come over the top, so that would be like that. Yeah. So that would be like that, and this would sort of come in like so, out to there. And then, think about it, the muzzle on this thing is going to be sort of that kind of spacing. Now here's a big question, should I do... If it's going to be a doll, do we want to have like realistic eyes, or do we want to have like button eyes? I'm tempted to say button eyes. I think that would be... And this head does actually, now that I've seen how I've placed the ears, this head does look slightly tilted that way, so having one eye slightly lower makes a bit of sense. But if we are going to stick with the idea of a tilted head, then the mouth needs to go that way. I'm going to go with mitten hands for this because I feel like it captures the essence of being a sort of disempowered doll-like creature. Figure? Or creature or figure? Figure, yeah. And I feel like that pretty much captures the essence of what I'm doing here. I don't just... I'm going to give it a slightly more lifelike curve to the body there, just a little bit of a chest to it. I was tempted to give it a sort of... Like, just to ultra cutify it, just give it like a heart-shaped chest emblem, but the foot's going to cover that anyway, so... I don't think I can really do that. Actually, what I could do... See, this is the thing, because it was sort of a borderline sex thing, I feel like I need to sort of spice it up a bit. So maybe a heart-shaped nose would be the way to go for that. So this would have that kind of... Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that, actually. I think this is almost... Oh, I do feel like that needs more of a curve out that way. Like if we could just make that edge flat and that one curved. Just flatten this edge and curve that edge. Just to give it a hint of bend there. Like this one's got that bend going on. There's an extra little treatment I'm going to give this, but I'm not going to do it in the pencils. I'm going to do it in the inks. So let's bam down the opacity on that because we're about to go permanent. I feel like I'm doing really well on that. I feel like I'm going really fast on this one, actually. The joy of doing like self-contained forms, like forms that are... Now let's just think about this for a second. If this is going to have a slight bend to it, then what we need is for that side to be larger than that side. That's going to be a... I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to get the detail right on this. Because I feel that... I feel like the key to this is going to be getting a nice consistent line width for most parts of it. Although it does kind of look okay like that. Let's stop second guessing ourselves. So I'm going to make the button eyes slightly larger. There we go. And I'll add the details to that later. Now let's zoom back out a bit to give the head some shape. I feel like this part should kind of disappear behind the head at first, and then kind of go in front of it. So that should come down there. And this should come up like so. Would that form make more sense if that line went in front? No, it wouldn't. I do feel like that maybe needs to end a bit higher. Or not. I'll deal with that in a minute. And also, why is there a line there? That shouldn't be there yet. That won't be there until we've decided how we're going to do the next part. And I'm not going to tell you what the next part is yet. So, let's think about this. So technically rabbit paws don't, like, thinking about it, a rabbit's paw is, it would have the same thing as the dog paw, wouldn't it? Where you essentially have the sort of that shape to it, and you have your toes divided like that. That would be the rabbit's paw. But we're going to fursona it back a bit to shorten one of them. So what you would essentially have is that. So your rabbit's paw is going to go wide bit, narrow bit in for this part here. Yeah. So this is going to come down from here. And I'm going to split that actually. Let's go back to the pencils. I want to split it 3 ways. So this part is going to come down here, into there and in. And we have that one and in, and then this one. Nope. Start from here. Yeah. And then from here we have the last bit. Yeah. We will see the body kind of come background here to actually it should almost come like that, shouldn't it? Or even, yeah, that should actually go straight in. That's straight from the side there. I almost feel like I should give a little bit of an arse just sticking out there. But no, what we're going to have for that is the fluffy white tail, which technically wouldn't be visible, but I think in this one situation it's forgivable to hide the fluffy white tail because you would not be able to see it from this angle at all. So here we have that. Do we want to split this paw as well, actually? I feel like we do. Let's start this off again. I kind of have to check what that is. Not happy with that last line. Yep. Let's just think about this three-dimensionally. That toe is going to go in front of that one, so really this toe should come in front of that one. So let's stop that one there and have this one come here like this, except it should almost have a kind of an angle there where it comes out. Yeah. So this part is going to come back to here, in, curve there and back down. And we're going to go for paw there, paw there, paw there. Think about it. If that was a foot, I've just put the longest toe on the outer edge, which is wrong. The longest toe on animal feet is in the middle. And technically there should be 4 toes there, but we're not going to worry about that particular problem. Right. So this comes down here and this kind of joins up here with the leg. Yeah. So this leg would join along that seam, so this should sort of come out here. But the foot is once again going to come in front of it, but this time it's going to have more of a, like a big toe kind of look to it. Yeah, because it's got the big, yeah, that's correct. It's correct because I say it's correct. Comes into there, that one comes into there, and this one comes into here. We go down, up a bit. There we go. So for here we do, that should be lower. So these should be long and thin for this, because it's at an oblique angle. And this part needs to come like so. Problem. Here is that this is too high and then goes too low. A for effort, F for execution. Should kind of go there and then cut off around where that, so it's too thin there now. There, perfect. And that goes there. Going to do a slightly janky move. I feel like that should be closer. Yeah. Let's get rid of all that leftover line there. Get rid of all that leftover line there. Draw that back in. Sorted. Let's just polish that up. I'm going to leave that line like that because I feel like it gives a better example of like a blank expression, which is what I want this character to have. That's going to sound pretty weird, but I figure if this is a character that's been hypnotized into this state, they're going to have a very blank expression about it, if that makes sense. I feel like this finger here is the wrong shape. Like it should be wider at the tip and narrower at the... like that sort of thing. Maybe it would make more sense just with as little finger as possible. Just do it straight up mitten shaped, like that. Yeah, I feel like minimalism is actually kind of our friend here. So I'm gonna get rid of a lot of this detail here. I'm gonna get rid of these parts of the fingers. I'm gonna make this paw a lot more like the other one. Let's start again from scratch for that point. So if we're going to build these paws the same, it needs to come out like this, curve a little at the top and in, and then down there, out, and then like that. Except we need to have a little in there, a little in there, and I'm going to stick on three little finger pads, call it 4 for the thumb. Yes. Now let's get some detail on these sections, because this is, after all, meant to be a plush rabbit. So but I almost feel like that should just be blank like that. In fact, it might even make more sense if we did it as just a hands down kind of thing, because at least that way I don't have to draw the thumbs. That's right. I'm already at the stage in my artistry career where I'm avoiding drawing certain parts of the body. I'm going to take away the pencils at this point. Yeah. Right then. So let's zoom in here, and we're going to do and not only that, wait till you see the main event. The funny thing about illustrating someone else's kink is that you're never quite sure what parts of it are like important. So like, I don't know if a specific element of this is more connected than the rest of it to what's like what's more important in this particular image. You just have to kind of go with it, you know. Let's think, how would this be done? You would have I feel like that's how you would do this. Trying to get the exact right curve on this part. Yeah, that'll do. Right then. So these feet, would they have the bottoms stitched on? Would that be how that was done? I think it would be. My mum used to make us our own like teddies and stuff because we couldn't afford like the I was about to say official ones. What's an official teddy bear? We couldn't afford like when I was young, at least. I think things got better as I got older, but when we were younger we couldn't really afford the best stuff. But we made do with what we had. To quote Kevin Bloody Wilson. And what that meant was that we got a lot of gifts that were handmade, which was excellent, you know, because my mum was really rather good at it. In fact, so good at it she was that for a little bit of extra cash, she used to actually make see, I'm thinking now whether that line needs to come down here and attach there so that the rest of the foot can come down there, but then that would mean that this one would actually have to come. Actually, no, that makes a lot more sense. Just get rid of this line here. When you think about it, this line would come from here, like it would come like right down here, like right on the edge, because it's so foreshortened. And that would mean that, yes, this one would in fact... Oh, piss, you see what I've done here? What I've done here is done an experiment line, then fixed another line, and then gone back to the experiment, and now I can't undo it. So, to come in here, the bottom of the foot line should go down there. Yeah, as I was just saying, my mum used to make us teddy bears and things. I was the envy of my class because I had a Gordon the Gopher before they even sold them. Like before there was an official one for sale, I had one. I had a Gordon the Gopher puppet because my mum made it for me. Right. I feel like what I want to do here is just hint at the fact that this paw is stitched together out of two halves by having that on there. In fact, if this was to come up a little bit higher, that would sell it even better. To sort of there. And then I'm not sure how much of it would really be needed actually, just a little hint around there. That's enough. So I got to see like the inner workings of how stuffed toys are made. I've even made a couple in my time using patterns that I got off the internet. But that was for a magic trick where kids got to choose markers out of a bag and they picked out different colours, and after they pick a colour out, they fill in a bit on a big, like we had a big teddy printout, like a colouring image, and as they did it, it was like a game of pass the parcel, so they were passing a parcel around, and long story short, when they like every time it stopped, they filled one in, and when it reached the final person, the image was already filled in, and then the panels of the now I should point out this isn't what actual stitches look like on a teddy bear, because if you're a professional, all this stuff is hidden on the outside. But I figured for someone who has like a distinct interest in this being a plush animal, anything that would sell that would help. The fact that these stitches aren't evenly spaced is testament to the fact that it was hand stitched with love. All those are bad. This is excellent practice in line thickness control, I've got to tell you. One interesting thing is that some people like their fursonas to have hair and some don't. Like some of them will just look like the animal and some of them will actually have like long hair on top or whatever. As far as I know from pictures that I've seen, she doesn't normally have any like additional hair on top of this character. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, I want to make this look like her a little bit. I want to give it a sort of a hint of being like her. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that without the hair, because you know, how many physical attributes does a person have if you completely change the look of their face? Let's just get that right for a change, shall we? I feel like I want to draw two versions of this, like a regular one and a slutty one. Actually, no, I know that second guessing myself is a terrible thing to do, but I do feel like that should carry more form with it. That should actually come straight in from the edge here. And come from more like there. Sort of carry the form with it. But then this ear would need to disappear entirely behind the back edge, which is doable. Like, I can do that. It's not a problem. Oh yeah, we're going the whole hog on this. So if we did that, if we actually put the ear completely behind the head, it would remove the need for a little bit more stitching. Sort of close that up a bit as well. Zoom out, see how we're doing. Looking good so far. So I have two options with making it look like her. Is that I can either give it her glasses, which would look sort of like... Let's add these on layers over the top. So that should be... Yeah, this is easily separable. That's good. So the glasses would look kind of... Now let's think about this. The centre of the nose is there. That needs to be foreshortened. So we got that eye there. This eye here. The connectives. How would rabbits wear glasses? Because it would have to come up like that, but I feel like they should go more like that kind of shape, maybe. You can't see this, but I'm going to bring up a picture of her. Ah, the things you do for your friends. Righto, so I can immediately see one thing I've done wrong. So I can immediately undo that. Is that her glasses are wider than they are tall. So they need to be more like that. But because we're curving them around the head, it's going to have that kind of shape to it. I feel like I need to do this on a pencil layer. Boop. So if we're going to go curve over this eye, curve over this eye, inverted curve in between, except it's not, it's kind of a straight line in between. And then we've got slight slope inwards there, slight slope inwards there, curve underside, slight slope inwards there, slight slope inwards there, curve underside, that goes behind there, this comes over here, down there. That'll do. So now we can fill those in for real. After all that, it turns out that we nailed it the first time. What I like about this is it sort of adds an even more spaced out look to the eyes. And now if we were going to add hair, God, I love working with layers. If we were going to add hair, it would have to come down here and down here, because she kind of has it parted down the centre, and it would have to be curly hair as well. I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to go all out and make it look almost exactly like her. So the reason I'm doing this on a separate layer, and I may indeed save two versions of this, is because I want to do one with the hair and one without. So before I do the one without the hair, I'm going to add one extra layer to this underneath, which is going to be the colour layer. That's right, I'm branching out into colour. Which means I have to do one other thing, which is slightly sneaky, but it's almost like doing covert research on someone's fursona. Let's go to the announcements channel. Oh no, she's changed it. She used to have one of her so I can find it on here. One of her social media things used to actually be a fursona picture that she had from someone else, but I think that's long gone. She's changed them all. So for colour, I'm going to just have to make it up. So I'm going to go with the off-white rabbit colour, the sort of tan rabbit. Can I? That kind of colour. I can do the majority of it just like this. Let's up that hardness a little. Oh, that is maximum hardness, okay. I guess with big brushes it softens out at the edges. Hello! Whoever said digital art was difficult. The colouring is certainly a lot easier. I'm actually just going to give this whole thing a wash because I can undo the missing parts afterwards. There. The great thing about this is that, I mean, I can recolour it afterwards if I have to. If she says, well, that's amazing, but, you know, my fursona is a different colour, I can say, well, there are ways to fix that. I didn't say, I did the random selection at the start. I'll probably re-announce this tomorrow, just in case people don't watch this far into the video. Which, let's face it, I'm talking to myself at this point, really. But what's that now? Part of the problem with this is that this brush, the dynamics on it are slightly wrong because the spacing is off. Can I bring up the brush editor? Is that going to come up in here? Oh, here we are. I can turn the spacing down. That's much better. Slightly more computationally expensive, but my PC can take it. If this video abruptly ends with a sort of wheezing noise, it couldn't take it. Right. Just go back to the layers. A few unwanted bits of this. Okay, why can't I colour select from this image? Mystery. I was going to just refill in a bit that I missed there. A bit that I missed here. Right outside the lines here. Missed a small part here. I think that's all good. Escape the lines there a bit. And there a bit. It probably would have been faster if I'd just been more careful and done it slowly rather than... Oh well. Right, so from that we're going to have a second colour, which is going to be it's going to be a sort of pinkish hue, but more of that pink kind of, yeah, that sort of pink. I'm going to do that on the nose. On the pores. That's annoying. You know, it's funny. When I was young, I have this distinct memory of being told off for not nicely colouring in a picture in science class. And I was like, it's science class, not art class. Why does it matter if I colour things nicely, so long as you know what colour the region is? Like, it doesn't matter if it's got nice smooth lines. But they did not agree with that at all. I disagree with my teachers on a lot of things. Too dark. Watch this. If I give a... Let's reduce the size of the brush down quite a lot. That's more like it. I want to make the buttons shiny, of course. That's the thing, buttons shine on the inside edge because of the way in which they are sort of cut, and they have a little shine on the outside edge there. We're going to do two-tone shading on this. What time is it? How long have we been recording this? 59 minutes. Holy crap. Okay. I either get to choose whether I'm going to shade this or... especially when I just realised that I need to do something else first, which is that I need to that to kind of come over there so that I can stitch that closed. The reason being that is going to be a different colour on the inside. Only the best for our mystery rabbit. You know, irritatingly, I'm not entirely sure whether or not this fursona should wear clothes. Better check that message. Maybe spirited off in a moment to deal with the dog issue. Right then, so let's look at how hair would work on this. So we need to firstly eyedrop that colour. Oh, hang on. Eyedrop that colour. Back to this layer, back to this pen, and I'm going to darken this, make it a little bit more that's about the right hair colour, I think. So if we have the hair coming down here, it's all on a separate layer, right? Yep. If I do sort of a thick curly hair coming down here, and in front of this bit of the ear here, bit down here, just for sort of so this would actually come in front of this ear, but it would go behind this ear. Maybe into that ear a bit. Or would that actually go there, or would the ear just sort of poke out of it? Would we lose a lot of that detail? I feel like the ears would just poke out of it there. Right. So we need to move the glasses up for one. And then on another layer above all of that, there's a lot of layers in this image. I feel like I should save this in case it crashes. I don't know what the other untitled is, but I need to... There we go. What the hell just happened? Oh my god, if I lost all this effort, I am going to be so pissed off. Oh Jesus. Wow, that was a pretty intense moment there from me. Okay. So that this doesn't... Just going to clear this layer because obviously that was meant to go on this layer. Let's get that back to nice bouffant curls. And that one will go there, and the rest will kind of appear from behind the head. Not worry too much about outlines for now. Make these curls slightly larger. Right. So, in terms of curly hair, here's what I've realised, is that what you do is you start drawing from the front and you work your way back up it, kind of. Or do you start from the... and do... Yeah, you start from essentially a line like that and then work back up like this. Except that you need to think about the direction of it. So, just as a sort of vague overlay, so many layers. This is almost certainly going to crash out at some point soon, but let's stick with it. So when you think about it, these hairs are going to come in this direction like that. These ones are going to go sort of vaguely behind there and in front of here. So we're going to have ones coming up this way. And these ones are going to come round and in here. And this one's going to come behind like this. In fact, that could almost be it. But we do want to get that curliness in, so it's going to have... I'm going to follow those lines. Let's get back down to here. So what I'm going to do is try to essentially make the curls of this hair follow that pattern that I just drew. So this would come around to here. Right. What if I just... Oh no, we're on the wrong layer. It's on this layer. No, it's not on that layer. What layer is it on? It is on that layer. Yeah, almost done now. I just want to fill in a little bit that I forgot there. And then I want to come back to the hair outline layer. That's the glasses. This layer. I want to just add in a couple of extra dark lines. Get rid of a couple of dark lines. I'm going to knock that one off. Get rid of that one. Whoops. Okay, add a bit more there then. Ooh. The right damn colour. You never see two outlines on the same bit of hair. This is so irritating because it's just irritating, that's all. there's no because there. I don't know why I added the because. Let's So we can theoretically just take the hair off, boom, like that immediately. That's good. This layer is the, whoops. This layer is the glasses, correct. So I'm just going to neaten these up a little. Fill in that part there, lower that part there. Round off the insides. I wish there was a way to turn the mouse pointer off because sometimes it gets in the way. I have to look into the options for that. It might actually be easier just to get rid of that little nubbin. In fact, that whole bit of the glasses is wrong. Look at me making last minute changes on the fly. That should go up more. See if we have the lighting up there. Should have a shine on the glasses as well. See, now at this point it's practically TF art because like I can do different levels from her like normal form to adding the hair in. Well, what layer have I drawn that on now? It's on the outline layer. But I feel like we need one extra thing, which is on the background layer. We need a line. The line will start here and it will end. Nope. Let's do it in the actual colour, shall we? We have a line which will start here, end here. Get out of eraser mode. Get into the right colour. How do the dynamics work on lines? I have no idea how that works on lines, but I don't want any dynamics for this. There we go, slumped against the wall. I'm even, for fun, going to add like a shadow. Except the shadow would have to incorporate the hair and everything, so I'm not going to add a shadow. I'm going to incorporate none of that. What layer is that on now? What I can do is give the floor a different colour. What am I doing here? I am doing colours, invert. Yep, and then I'm going to make layer mask, apply a layer mask. There we go. So that on this layer now, I come back in and I can give us sort of, and let's go big brush on this, like a super big brush. And that's the wrong colour. We're going to go pale green wall. With dark red carpet. If this hadn't taken so long already, I would probably go for something a bit more Twin Peaks, like maybe that zigzag black and white floor. But this has already taken an enormously long time, way longer than I expected it to. So I'm going to call it a day at that. What the hell is on layer 7? Nothing's on layer 7. Why is it there? Take off that layer. Cool. we are going to save this. Create folder 21. You know what? You don't have to watch me do all this part. I think we can call that a day. Thank you for watching.